50 years after he led the first British team up Mount Everest, I was honoured to meet Sir Chris Bonington, Britain's most famous mountaineer. A former army officer like myself, I was excited to hear his wisdom and experience. I'm a veteran, you're a veteran. Where did it all start for you with the military?
Me, I kind of slipped into the army. Even though it wasn't the army to start off with, I had to start off with the RAF.
Oh, really?
And I was, and even that was a misfortune. The moment I got into an airplane, it all went wrong, and I just had no aptitude for flying whatsoever.
Oh, dear.
I liked the service life, but I thought, well, I'd have been much better at the army. So I then went through all the kind of tests and everything to get to Sandhurst.
Well, speaking of memories, you've, I've got...
My... The juniors. I think an awful lot of these go, here's happy.
So this is
that's
Sandhurst.
That's Sandhurst.
Look at your uniform as well.
No, just where is young officer cadet Bonington? Thoroughly enjoyed Sandhurst.
Did you?
Oh, yes, yeah. And I actually enjoyed my military career. I mean, I was troop commander in Germany. So I'd done quite well in the army. Finally, though, an appointment came up. It's a newly started Army Outward Bound School in Towyn, Merioneth. And so I immediately applied, which once again, my colonel said, very, very bad career move, Bonington. And I didn't care less. I just knew I wanted to get near the crags and near climbing. And so I then had 3 fun years at Towyn. I think I learned a heck of a lot from my time in the army, more than I ever realised at the time. And I think I learned how to be a good leader, and that is essentially that you actually had to firstly look after the people that you commanded. You knew that you had to take them into very dangerous situations and guide them through it and get through it to actually not just stay alive, but to achieve the objective that you'd been set to do. But I think with those expeditions, I was a good leader, I think, because of this awareness of that kind of responsibility that I actually had to the people I was leading, because they had to go into that danger where you were going to do it, and I lost people, because you wouldn't achieve your objective without doing it, without taking those hard decisions. I usually slept very, very well, but sometimes just the sheer weight of responsibility, I'd have a sleepless night because I was so worried about what I was going to have to decide, what I was going to have to take them to do the next day. On all my big expeditions, I did lose someone. And in a way, I could accept that because it's all part of the risks that they were taken. The only worrying thing is where you actually made a mistake yourself that actually led to people dying. And that did happen on one occasion. You do make mistakes, and once again, I think you've got to work through them and carry on through them, both for your own sake, but also for the sake of the people you're leading. I can remember particularly when it was after one of our expeditions and we lost several people. The decision then was who should actually go back to actually bring the bad news to the families. And I decided, no, I had to do that. So I did. I actually had to confront there the wife and family of one of the people who'd lost their lives.
Yeah.
It was incredibly difficult. But, you know, you just had to grit your teeth and do it because that was your humanitarian role, your duty as the leader of the expedition. And I think I fortunately had the kind of moral stamina, if you like, to actually be able to do it and to be able to switch off and just do the job.
Once you've switched off and done that job, you are a human being. Did it then affect you?
Oh yes, and then you do, yeah, you agonise, there's no doubt about it. But it's amazing that time heals, and so that you can actually start, you can switch it off.
So you live in the beautiful Lake District, and you're surrounded by natural beauty. Do you feel that that's helped you when you have been in dark times to sort of get yourself out there and see the different things?
Well, I think whenever I've got a difficult decision to take, or actually something terrible has happened, and I go for a walk, and just particularly here, Badger Hill, and just walking and just feeling the fells that I love are around me. And that acts as a kind of a catalyst to actually bring me through a moment of, if you like, of complete despair.
It was really interesting when I was speaking to Chris, and he mentioned the loss of a fellow climber, yet he had this military mindset to keep going, and the next expedition, he'd sort of already got that in his sights before he'd even got home. And that's something that I completely identify with. On the way home from an expedition, I'm almost planning the next one to go onto and to have something to plan, because I know that when I come back from these challenges, I can often have quite a dip in my mood. So to cover that up, I almost have the next one there ready ahead of me, so that I don't have to deal with the difficult times. And I know that I've used that strategy quite often in life. You can say, oh, you're running towards something, rather than realising you're actually running away from something, which I know in the past I have done.